Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's test table, where we don't play test games. No, we stress test them. So we are smack dab in the middle of tumultuous times, to say the least. To put a date on this, yesterday, President Biden gave a speech in front of a bunch of walking corpses who had opinions about things. However, not a single one of those things was Zine Quest. And if you're not going to address Zine Quest, perhaps the most momentous thing happening any year, what are you even doing? How can you be said to be the leader of the world's largest industrial prison if you're not going to mention Zine Quest?
So, I too was looking for a shout out to my favorite subculture, but
I watched a 2-hour video and not once
was your name mentioned.
Did Jody Bryden, or whatever we want to call it, Dark Brandon, I don't know what they call him, not once did they mention Odd Gobs, the game that Roland and I are making.
Yeah.
It's completely, you know what it is? It's partisan, and I'm disappointed.
Tax dollars at work.
So
shame.
Here's the thing, guys. Every week, every single blessed week, we come out here like 4 idiots and 1 cool person, and we try to play. That's not up to me. That's not up to me to decide who the cool guy is. We will find that out during the awards.
To decide. Yeah.
Vote now with your cell phones.
We all know it's going to be Brexit.
Vote now with your saliva.
Yes. Now link your screen on the person you think is the coolest. Do it now.
In this case, it being COVID. Anyway, well, every week we come here, hands held out to you, begging you to enjoy a game. And do you know how many people reach out to us every single week? People are sending me stuff they want reviewed for the blog and for the TikTok. People are sending Charles stuff to blog and cross promote on our socials. And a veritable horde of handsome, beautiful, and amorphous creators are knocking at Ian's door each and every week, begging them to play their games on our stream.
You know how hard it is to get all the tentacle prints off my door?
I'm sorry about that.
It's the first rule of doing a live stream about tabletop games is don't fall in love.
And we just have so much to do. But guys, I know this is asking a lot, but I think we need to double up a little bit. What if we got an adventure and we used a new system being launched during Zine Quest to run that adventure? So we got an adventure and a rule set. We hit 2 projects at once. And maybe if the rule set could be written by a baller artist, like someone who's known for creating great art, maybe someone who even worked on Morkabians. That'd be incredible. We could do a 3-fer, right? We could get 3 birds and beat them to death with 1 stone.
It's like a TTRP turducken.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a rule set stuffed inside an adventure, stuffed inside an artist. I don't know if we can find something like that. But what do you guys think? Let's put it to a vote. Who wants to do 3 things tonight?
I like to.
Are we still supposed to lick our screens? Okay.
I thought, man, this is awkward. Geez. Okay, let's do it.
So, Ian, can you vamp for a couple of minutes while Patchkey gets the stream ready for these 3 things we just dropped in his lap?
What's the 3rd thing?
Just Billy Blue's a great artist.
Oh, okay. This is being true.
Just some art, I think, is what he's dropping in.
I was just kind of curious if you're adding in the interpretive dance module because
I think that was him getting the screen ready.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
like
impressive. It was some real great computer moves.
Next time you need beeps and boops and keyboard clacking sounds for audio-only listeners. Some people know you're doing expert level hacking over there.
We'll make
I
John
did.
add that in post.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Don't worry, I'll definitely do that.
So then, giving a high.
Ian, I have to tell you guys, I edit these like the chef at Waffle House makes waffles. Okay, I'm in my underwear. I'm sitting next to my desk, moving the mouse around, smoking a cigarette.
This is why I keep finding pecans in our stream. When I didn't order them, they're just still in there.
I don't know why you've got to talk shit about the delicious food at Waffle House. It's great.
When did I say anything bad about it?
Chopped and smothered and covered and slathered and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay, so, Ian, go ahead. Tell us what us dumb fucks are doing.
So we are doing the double header here. So what we are playing tonight is TLD RPG, which is Billy Blue's new rule system. And just like TLDR or TLDR, depending which way you want to slice that pie, it's that same concept that a lot of us get too tired or too intimidated by too large of rule sets, or we understand that our friends don't have the time to digest an entire giant book of rules. But these are all barrier points to entry. So what the system is a very easy, quick to learn, and very fast character creation system that can run just about any type of RPG, and it uses a pool of D6s, the most common and plentiful of dice. So to kind of demonstrate about the utility of this and how you can take any pre-existing product and get it ready to run, we are going to be featuring another game that is currently kickstarting, and that is Ziggurat of the Blood God. So this is from Christopher Willett, and this is a person who's put out a lot of other popular Zine Quest offerings. And what's fun about this is it's actually been also retooled, so you can play in DCC, in Morkborg, and then also in OSR format as well. So we're going to basically add a fourth channel by running it in TLD RPG. So that's kind of what we're going to be getting ourselves into. And then also, as you can see, there's lots of cool art there by Billy Blue. But with that, why don't we go ahead and then get comfy in our chairs and then transition into our game mental headspace here as we introduce our cast of characters. And to also just kind of put a backdrop on this, kind of approaching this with like that classic sword and sorceries vibe, which matches really well with the TLD RPG character abilities and things that are in the draft set of the rules that I have so far. So who is going to be going first? I wonder if only there was some sort of guidance document to say who would be introducing their character first.
Look, it was fair and square. We drew straws, me, myself, and I won, so I get to go first. I tonight will be playing the part of Piggledy the Pious, who is a wandering, like, he's kind of a cleric, but not very good at it, so it's kind of shortened to clerk, which is literally how that word happened, but yeah. So Piggledy the Pious, the clerk, wandering around with his wall shield and a pocket full of sunshine. Yeah. That's my dude. Oh, and the deity I worship. Sorry. The mighty Jimmy Dean, the god of the god of prepared meats. I am feedback really bad on somebody's computer.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback from you.
Oh, I don't hear any feedback on my end, so well,
that means it's probably you, bud.
Yeah,
I wonder. It's a brand new machine, so if you are in the audio and you hear weird random things and you think it's me, yell at me. I'll go ahead and mute myself.
Yeah, I'm hearing that echo as well.
Yeah.
Sound check.
I am Hoguma, the Magnificent, the Red Wizard. I am a master of the mystical arts. Hoguma is the spindliest, like picture an old man who probably did meth and coke his whole life, but somehow has never died and has just gotten weirder and weirder as time goes. And that's Hoguma. Hoguma is dressed in a beard. He has a magnificent, yes, he has a magnificent beard that explodes off his face. It covers him. His entire beard has been braided and weaved into a red robe, red as it is stained with wine. He smells awful, just really, really bad. He does have one bit of white beard at the in front of his like under red beard that goes all the way down to his belly button, and he braids that into faces that a rather small compared to the beard but large compared to other chameleons scampers around in, sucking on the wine from Hagoma's beard.
Is there a belt on the robe?
I mean, it's all hair, so
okay. I just wanted to make sure my visual was correct.
There is braids that act as a belt, but there is nothing on him that is not hair related.
There's a really great Shel Silverstein poem on exactly this subject. It's like something like, "My beard, it grows from my head to my toes, so I wears it and down the road I goes," or something like that. It's great. I highly recommend it.
On a scale from Captain Caveman to Cousin It, how hairy are you?
So, okay, here's the deal. Like, again, it's Captain Caveman has clothes that you can see.
Okay.
So it's more like it, but it's very obviously all beard. And like 3 hairs on top, like Homer Simpson.
Okay. Okay.
The important question to distinguish between the two is: do you wear a bowler hat?
I do. I absolutely do not.
Okay.
What I do have a bit of beard that I like put over like a bad toupee, but it's constantly like falling off, and I'm readjusting. In fact, I initially got I essentially got the chameleon familiar to hold, like, to perch on my ear and hold my comb over in place, and he is drunk and does not do his job.
All right. So, with that and hopefully better audio, we begin.
No, we do not. We have 2 more, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all got. I was disconnected from my audio for a second. And I thought you were ahead of things, so I will sleep back.
I heard that you weren't listening intently too.
I was.
All right.
The chameleon got drunk off the beard.
I mean yeah. I'm intrigued to see where that goes.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go. I am playing Yansas, the snake blood. I've determined that Yansas is somewhere between a Dragon Ball Z villain that has the appearance of snake skin all over, kind of like somewhere between Frieza or Cell, but less of the bubble ear thing, but more smooth, like cooler. And snake skin all over.
Is it your snake skin, or is it just
I own it.
Do you generate snakeskin?
By generate, you mean I have some to go around?
All right.
Yes.
He's asking if you have enough for the whole class.
Yes,
now I have a question. Do you only grow snakeskin around your face? Do you have a snakeskin beard that you use as a robe?
Only like every month, my beard kind of comes off and like mostly one chunk, but sometimes it's like 2 or 3 pieces, and then it's just really shiny for a bit until after about that month goes, and then it gets kind of like cloudy, and then it starts to like happen all over again.
My snake is so grumpy right now, guys.
Limpopo molted or shedded or whatever snakes are called like about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, snake talk. Yes.
A whole new sub
Hello,
channel.
everyone. You've reached One Moncast, where Patchkey and I discuss snakes for 3 hours. Sit back and enjoy the smooth, scaly sound of our voices.
So ball pythons are a classic snake species that are low maintenance.
No
One of the
snake
best things about
jazz?
them is if you squint really hard, they kind of look like big prehensile dicks, and it's really quite erotic when you think about it.
That's why I feel awkward.
Yeah, this podcast took a turn. Yeah.
We're edging for the M rating or whatever, how these rating bands go.
You haven't already had that?
Right after somebody, you're gonna have to click yes to confirm your age.
We actually do have that on our Twitch. You do have to say you're over 18. Good. And on YouTube, it is not meant for kids. And also on the podcast, nothing's meant for children. Sorry, kids.
And I'm not meant for kids.
It's kind of like the episode of the Treehouse of Horrors from The Simpsons, where the little rating box like stabs a person, and every time it stabs, I think it's like Kent Brockman, it goes up from like T to AO. And then Billy Blue is actually in the chat with us. So hello, Billy.
Cool.
Hello, Billy. I want to hear about Bridget's character.
Oh, me?
Oh, I was just introducing our person.
Oh, I'm just Horok.
We already know that Billy's great, but I want to hear how Bridget's great.
I'm just Horok. There's nothing special about me.
I don't believe that for a second.
You haven't heard of me? Some people call me the horror of the West.
Yeah, I think I've heard of you. I think I've heard of you in your signature move. Stop.
The groin kick or the interrogation?
I was thinking of the. Are those different?
Yes.
Hi. Bez, I have a new thing to try. She left.
Get the journal.
I love it.
I really like the fact that in the TLD RPG, there are suggestions for what your character skill should be. And when I saw interrogation, I was like, I know what that means. All right. So let us set the scene. The four of you are in a thick, sweaty, steaming, fetid jungle. You have been hacking your way for days through this thick undergrowth. You have had vines tear at you with those annoying little thorns raking your calves, making them itch terribly. You have been fighting scads of terrible biting insects, leaving you covered in welts. And you have had all of your boots and shoes filled with mud and water, just making your feet just like split and just basically just kind of sloughing apart. Why might you be out here in this terrible jungle, sweating in armor and being uncomfortable?
This is paradise.
Well, you know, that's a very good point. So this seems like a territory that Yanthus would be very intimately familiar with, yes?
Yeah.
Well, you happen to know that there is this ziggurat that has been abandoned. There used to be some type of village at its feet that would pay tribute to the things that dwelled within, but something happened to the village, and the villagers are no more, leaving this ziggurat completely unprotected and assumedly filled with all kinds of treasures, or at least so the rumors say. So you've gathered your friends on a little journey to loot and plunder. What are some of the types of treasures you heard might lurk inside Yanthus?
Oh, so there's so many delicious things. There's little plump rats you could eat, which that's a bonus. On top of that, the shiny things that everyone needs and wants, the shiny stuff, the yellow, you know, the gold. That's there. Yes. Yes. The possums are see the pouch holds that extra sauce that makes it more scrumptious. Something about diamonds I've heard, but the possum is really the delicacy that I want like us to get to. Please.
So, the group of you have been lured in with promises of possums and diamonds.
And gold.
And gold.
There's
And rats.
possums and diamonds. There's
Honestly,
the name
just
of
go for the possum.
possums and diamonds might be the next cocaine and alligators.
That's not why I am here. I understand what used to lurk in these halls, what manner of power filled it. Blood god. Do you know what the word blood means? Do you know the strength that is within these veins? More importantly, did you know that some people, blood is equated with wine? The blood of their god, they drink wine to like symbolize. I am hoping that there are arcane scrolls worthy of bringing my magic to the next level. But if I were to find some barrels of god wine, that'd be cool, yo.
Okay. Yeah, there's a mirror in there that if you look into it, you know how the next person you will meet will die. You get to see it. So that's what I'm looking for. And then after that, sweetie, we can drink your god. Okay?
I don't need that mirror. Syphilis, baby.
I like the fact that, like, are you wanting the mirror because you're just out of ideas, or are you just
I just want to see.
It's like instant replay.
You said the next person you meet?
The next person you will meet, yes.
Okay, so we've already met, so you don't know how I'm going to die.
Not yet,
when we find it.
Not unless I get hit on the head or something, and then we could meet again.
You get really, really drunk.
John, I'm getting a lot of noise from your mic, I think.
No, it's Ian's. There's a little green dot whenever that noise is happening, meaning the audio is coming from him.
Okay.
I even changed my audio input source. Well, thank you, Hewlett Packard, for the excellent computers that you make. So I apologize to our
It's
listeners.
receding now. Anyway, go on.
Just like my hairline.
Wah, wah.
All right. All right. So we will fix it in post, and thank you for sticking around. And apologies. So I'll mute myself as much as possible. So you have spent a long time trudging through this jungle in the hopes of many juicy rats and barrels of god wine, mirrors, and other things. So you find yourself at the foot of this ziggurat. It towers above you. And when you are at the very foot of its stairs, it almost encompasses your entire field of vision. It just blocks out the sun and looms like almost like an intimidating, almost like gravestone across this place.
For our fans who had a United States of America public education, could you define the word ziggurat and explain the difference between that and a pyramid?
All right. So a pyramid is much more prism-like. So think about Egypt. And when you think about Central American architecture, a lot of the temples and other things are step-tiered. So think Babylonia, you think the Mayans, the Aztecs, that use that structure. So you still have a long ascending staircase, but the outer structure itself is tiered. So it can have multiple different tiers, but imagine it as a pyramid with extra texture.
Or your
if that was an
pleasure.
ad lib, you need a raise.
It is an ad lib. All right, so you are standing at the bottom of 100-foot stairway.
I'm real glad I've been doing that step aerobics. Let's get going. Straight up.
I'm getting my gnarled feet out of the fetid standing water and starting to climb the fetid mossy stones.
Why is everything fetid?
Well, one
When
of the
I was
reasons,
your age, we didn't
Jeez.
complain about the fetidness.
one reason it's fetid might be that I am so energized because I am powered by hot dogs. So I'm ready to bound up these steps with you guys.
You've also been sweating in a set of plate mail. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Which is now also fetid.
Does Jimmy D make hot dogs?
Probably. Have you ever like left a hot dog at room temperature and watched it sweat? That's basically what's like rolling down the inside of my plate mail.
The meat sweats.
Yeah.
Magda always had the meat sweats. Always.
No. So are all of you climbing these Larven stairs?
Yep.
Mhm.
Only 100 feet, right?
Yeah, only 100 feet of ascending stairs. When you get to the top of it, the entryway to the temple is unlit. The stone floor is plastered in a layer of bat guano and reeks of a musty animal stink. You can see just a little bit in the gloom that there seem to be some type of pictographs or paintings on the side of the walls, but it's pretty dark here. And just it goes deep inside into the darkness.
Who's packing a light?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't have one.
If you have minor adventuring equipment, I will assume that you have it since you are a brave adventurers. I didn't put on your character sheet that you have pants, but I'm assuming you have pants.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay.
I mean, I've got some snakeskin leather pants. I'll let your imagination determine whether or not that's me or if that's me.
Let's see.
I didn't write anaconda on your character sheet.
Ah.
Mr.
I now see the word gardener in there for some reason. I thought it was out of context, but I guess now it makes sense.
Bashki.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rely on you guys because I ain't got shit.
But we all have one, right?
I said that if you, since it's a basic thing, I'm going to assume that you have it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
I thought you meant if we had basic
Oh,
adventure
no.
pack listed in our. Okay, yeah. Let's strike a light and see what we can see from the entrance before we go running in.
Now, does my character have like correct me if I'm wrong, because I have been lied to by cartoons, by poorly trained school teachers in Southern Indiana, and my mother and a number of other people. Can like do snakes perceive things in like thermal vision?
It depends on the type of snake. So ball pythons, like you have, do. The holes in the front of their snout are thermal sensors.
Neat.
Does
Okay.
it seem like a time for a now you
Or
fucking know?
The more you fucking know.
Yeah,
I
for real.
think we got one of those.
Do we?
Yep, it's up right now.
All
The
right.
more you
Amazing.
fucking know. I wrote a song to go with it.
That makes me so happy.
So, are you wanting to use that before this torch is lit, or are you just asking?
I mean, I feel like I would just be using it without like. Do you think about like Ian? Roll to use your eyes.
Yeah.
Do you think that the torches will be too much for you?
Nah. They
What if
shouldn't
we
be.
all light one?
Yeah, if we all light them and wave them in his face, they'll be a bit much, probably.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that fair for any of you?
Nope, not me. My beard would catch
say-
on fire and I would die.
Yeah. You have no idea how much wine is in that thing. Like
So much.
yeah,
I'm actually staying away from you guys and not lighting my own torch.
I mean, the
Yeah.
thing is, like
Always smart.
his body weight, like he weighs like a solid like 300 pounds, even though he's like only 90 pounds of human. The rest of it is just wine that is saturated layers. It looks like an overcoat, like you might see in Russia. You know.
And Chris, the author of our adventure, is also in the chat as well. So thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah, we're just getting into the.
I told you
Ziggurat.
we do a twofer. Everyone comes out the woodworks.
Yep.
Exactly.
Welcome both of you, and thank you for sharing this cool as shit content with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So,
you-
let's let Pashki uses snake vision before we light our torches.
Yeah.
I think
Sneak
we've
it
been
up.
traveling with him long enough that we'd know about his special needs and accommodate them and not wave flaming brands in his face.
Okay,
Thanks,
that
guys.
was
I
where I
appreciate
was.
that.
I was going to ask about the order of operations here.
I just want to point out that Michael Harmon is also in the chat, another amazing artist and creator, and he suggested that as soon as we light our torches, the swamp castle is going to catch.
Oh,
Kill
man.
us all anyway.
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
So let's definitely go with Snake-O Vision.
All right. So, as you peer into the darkness, the first thing that you really pick up with your serpentine senses is that heavy fog of guano. And as you look inside, trying to get a sense of this, as you like lick the air, you can taste that there are a lot of bats here. When you look up, you can see not only just like thick carpet of bats that cling to the upside of the temple, but in the center of it, you see like these large stalactites that twitch a bit. And you see that they're actually these giant bat-like things that are just clinging there, swaying ever so much back and forth as you begin to probe into this room.
That sounds so appetizing.
Yeah, they're just gorgeous. Did you know that a single colony can drain 25 cows in a night?
What? I don't know if that's a real bad fact.
That reminds me of my college days, and also last weekend.
So, like, I'm assuming we're gonna huddle up after. Please, like, it's snake. What? 2 snakes.
Yanthus?
Yeah.
Yanthus, sure.
Yeah.
Yanthus. I'm assuming
Yes.
you're gonna information share with us, and
Certainly.
that's a snake that has a bit of a lisp. Is the like, so what are you guys armed with? Like, do you have melee weapons? Do you have
Power beyond mortal reckoning?
Well, I got this flail with a lot of gore on it, and I've got a cruel dagger.
Because I think I could roust those big, tasty sumbitches out of there with the power of my zap. And maybe you guys could like flail and or like unlimited power them in John's case as they fly out.
Do we need to do that?
Yeah, do we have to kill the bats?
Well, not necessarily. Do you want to go picking your way through them and try not to get et?
I mean, I would like to just grab one, grab it real tight, hold it for a hot minute, and then just unhinge my jaw.
Mm-hmm.
In.
Now, to be clear, are you saying that about the multitude of bats, or are you talking about the very large, huge bats that are also dangling in the midst of this colony?
Well, he said unhinge his jaw, so I'm thinking it's one of the extra big bats.
Just, I want to make sure that you have the proper death you deserve.
I like the idea that Yanthus is not a snake person, but just a person that's like a snake furry, like a scale.
Yeah.
Just like, no, this is my scale Sona.
A snake Sona.
Snake Sona, yeah.
And that's not a bash to that community. It would be amusing in this like dark dungeon of like, hey, all right, Greg, go over. No, I'm Yanthus. I'm a snake.
I mean, like, for time immemorial, we've had furries. It just people used to wear bear skins and like buffalo skins, and so that's
furry was the default.
Yeah.
It's only recently that we've moved away from God.
That we've truly become naked apes. Yeah,
Horok, unless Horok has changed it, actually is garbed in like crude hides and things.
Horok, I have no idea how Horok is. I only know Horok's superpower, which is a good one to have in your back pocket or your front pocket, so to speak.
Or wherever.
Yeah. So, do you guys really want to just like sneak in there and try and shimmy by these bats?
That's my plan, man.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Last week it was be made into hot dogs. This week it will be made into bat food. I love it.
All right.
Cycle of life, baby.
So,
all right. To make sure I'm clear, are you sneaking past the bats, or are you unhinging your jaws and trying to cram bats down your throat? So I'm actually, what are you?
We're sneaking.
I think he's gonna cram, and
varies by character. Yeah,
the rest of us are gonna sneak around him comically as he does that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how this scene plays out, and we will sling some dice.
Okay. So go ahead.
From my character's perspective, I see a bat, I grab a bat. I crush the bat, I eat the bat. I see another bat, I grab the bat, crush the bat, eat the bat. And then I see the big bat, and I'm just like, what? That's... Can I crush it? Can I? Can I make it? Can I? How am I going to do this? That's where I'm at.
I've never believed in you, my friend. Goma says as he sneaks past him.
Yeah, I think it's one at a time, just past him, averting our eyes, acting like we're not there.
Yeah, and bringing up the rear, I'm obviously scared shitless by this behavior. I'm like, oh gosh, oh geez, oh heck, oh no.
The averting the eyes is what's killing me. Just like, nope, don't know. Don't worry, bats. We don't know him.
Yeah.
So, as this is kind of all happening out, as you are sneaking past, and Yanthus is nabbing bats and then biting their heads off, Aussie style, and consuming them. Bats don't usually take it very well when you try to bite their heads off. In fact, they usually kind of resist it. So as this is playing out, now if you hear a noise, it's my cat finding a bag and then attempting to suffocate himself. So please don't suffocate yourself, buddy. Bats will screech. So as you are cramming bats down your throat, the bats begin to shriek, and that causes all the bats at the top of the temple begin.
Oh no!
I think he's grabbing the bag from his cat.
Yes.
No more bag time for you, son.
Take that, Bobo.
No, that's Snacks. Snacks is the one that makes. He's the only one to really come on the podcast. So if
Snacks is the worst.
Yeah, he is very distracting, but he is also extremely cute. So look at this one. He's the one that's probably causing a lot of the noise too from chewing on the wires.
No, that's not as cute as Bobo. Just saying.
So we're going to rewind that 10 seconds there. So you are taking these bats, you're plucking them like ripe fruits, and you're biting them and swallowing these bats while eyeing the large bat.
Now they say that bats are nature's fruit.
They do not say that.
No one says that.
Look,
no one.
I don't know what a fruit bat is, but that's gotta be it.
So the bats begin to shriek, and it sets off this chain reaction of all the bats above you beginning to emit this like high-pitched, very piercing, keening shriek. The bats that are these massive things hanging from the ceiling begin to twitch and stir, and as their wings jut out, all of the bats above you just pour out like smoke, just as a big cloud. The ones that are these huge ones, their eyes snap open with this preternatural red baleful glare, and they all look down at you, Yanthus, as you are covered in bat blood. You're going to make the first roll of the evening, and you're going to be rolling for me. You can make me a spirit check as you are trying to avoid being grabbed by one of these giant bats.
I just love the idea of Yanthus covered in bat blood, looking up at them and being like, nothing.
Yes. Can I help you? Is there? I rolled 2 5s.
All right. So, do you want to take that failure, or as a introduction to the system, you need to have at least 1 6 in order to pass your test. But you can, like in DCC and other things, you can burn stats to add extra dice to your pool or do a dice bump. Do you want to either you bump something by burning a point of your luck or mana? You also have your second chance ability that you can use.
Let's go with my second chance, where I saw that on my character sheet. I am scrolling down.
That is under abilities. You basically can force someone to re-roll a test, and I'd say you could force yourself to retest it in this case if you want.
Okay, so just re-roll then, and that uses my ability.
Yep, and you won't get that until you've rested for 6 hours.
All right. Hey, a 6 and a 1.
Awesome. So that is a mixed success, because that's this is going to be very interesting. So you are this bat detaches itself from the ceiling, and it lets out this like gut roll shriek that just turns your guts to jello as it swoops down. You can see these giant talons, and it attempts to pick you up by your armor, sinking its talons into it. But as you kind of barrel roll out of the its grasp, you feel like your armor shred. So you get one of your points of your armor taken away from that, and you have like this deep kind of like, you can see like your skin, your snake skin is beginning to kind of peel off from the attack. So that's a partial success there. So in this whole process, it kind of drags you a couple of feet, and you know that if you didn't get that success, you probably would be hurtled down those flights of stairs at the beginning of the temple, which would probably reduce you to pulp. The rest of you, you are going through a smog of bats. I will have all of you make me a spirit check.
Oh, we've got spirit. Oh, yes, we do. Well, yeah, I got 1 success and a 2.
I'm going to burn a luck for this, because I need an extra die. Oh, that didn't go well. I got a 3 and a 1.
And a 1. Now, was that 1 from one of your first 2 dice, your crit dice?
No, the 3 was from the first.
So my spirit is a 1. Do I still roll 2 crit dice, or do I just roll 1 die?
That's a great question for Billy, and I say that go ahead and roll both so we can see how that plays out.
Okay, and I rolled 3 because I was like, maybe I rolled the 2 crit dice plus the 1 stat die, and the 1 stat die was a 6, but I don't think I'm supposed to roll it at all. So what I rolled is a 1 and a 4.
Well, I've been corrected. It's just 1 die. So what was the first die you rolled?
That'd be a 1.
Oh, well, that's great. So,
I'm fine. I'm fine.
So the lot of you are getting bats in your hair, bats in your backpack. But for you, Hagama, one of these other giant bats picks you up by your beard. You can feel it gets snagged in its talons. It shrieks and spits this type of like bat spittle in your eyes, which is just acidic and terrible. And it begins to take you out of the entrance here towards the stairs. All right.
Can I react to that, or?
Yes. So you have like 1 round here. As you're kind of dangling by your beard, how do you want to? What?
Which part of the beard? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's all beard, baby. I reached down and part a little bit of my beard, and Hagama's burning piss. And I'm going to cast Burn.
All right, fantastic. So that costs you 1 mana point.
Yes.
And then roll me 1d3, and that's going to determine the level of burn you inflict upon the bat.
Okay. That's a 2.
2. All right. So the bat has burn 2. The bat instantly engulfs into flame, and its shriek is this very high-pitched pain wail that all the other bats begin to mirror. They fly erratically at this point, hitting against the walls, bumping into each other, shrieking. It is a deafening sound here, and you can't hear anything. It's at the point of having like a flashbang happen. Your senses completely burn out. So the bat takes 2 points of damage this turn, and then it will take 1 point of damage the next round. So we'll kind of treat this as a chaotic, quick little burst of combat as a kind of a taste. So we'll start round robin. So that would be your action there for John. It lets you go, and it flies around above you, just dripping flame from it and threatening to catch your beard on fire. Excuse me. Horek, your next initiative. Do you want to help out your compatriots that are in the middle of this bat maelstrom, or do you want to retreat into the safety of the deeper part of this temple?
Oh, yeah. I guess I'll help. I'll, can I use my cruel dagger? Slash at a bat.
Oh, okay. I say, how are you helping?
I'm helping.
I'm stabbing the wizard.
That's what I fully expect for it. Yes. So this bat looks like it would probably redouble and fling itself upon the hapless wizard. If you want to charge forward and make an attack, you can certainly do that. So for you, Horek, that is going to be 5d6.
So, yeah, no hits. It was 2, 5, 1, 2, and 3.
All right. So the 1 was not in the first 2 dice, it sounds like.
Right.
So you charge for it and you slash wildly, but bats just keep smacking into your face and this obscuring your vision. You actually have like a bat on both eyes, just like clinging to your eyebrows, just absolutely blinding you as you flail out. You use a move action in that. Charles, I get it. Piggledy.
Yeah.
I like you yelling it at him. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, so I have a question. Like, spells, are those auto success, or do you have to pass like a mind check to succeed?
It depends on the situation. On your turn, you can do a move, attack, and use an ability if you want.
Okay.
So I did shortchange Horek if Horek wanted to do anything else. Did you want to use one of your abilities or save it for later?
Well, I'll save it for later, but since I used my cruel dagger, I just want to note that it whispered to each of you as it went by something that you've never told anyone.
Cool.
Very cool. I know about your list.
So let's see. Do these qualify as unholy creatures?
They do not. These things are bats. Just very effing large bats.
All right, then. Here's the sequence of my move. You said move, attack, ability, right?
It doesn't have to be in that order, but those are the 3 things you can do.
So I'm going to move closer to the big flaming bat, what's got my wizard buddy, and I am going to attack it with my heavy mace, which is... It has weight listed as well as...
The weight has to deal with how much body you have, or your body helps factor into an ability called gear, and so gear is how much you can carry in your weight.
I gotcha. Okay.
So most of your weight is in like your shield.
Gotcha. Yeah, which is a hearty shield.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smack that flaming bat with my heavy mace. Medium weapon, weight 2, damage 3 dies. Roll 4d6 for attack. So that's like 1, 2, Yeah, you'll have to explain why it's roll 4d6 to attack on that.
That's your attack roll. I just thought it'd be convenient to have that.
Thank you. You did crunch the numbers for me. Thank you. Okay, 4d6. That's a 1, a 2, a 1, and a 3. That's 2 1s. That's
all right. So, so that's a crit fail. So do you want bad option number 2 or bad option number 1 or bad option number 2?
Two.
Okay, all right. Number 2. I got to listen to the crowd.
Okay, that's good. Bad option number 1 was you just basically beaning your wizard friend with your heavy mace.
That would have been funny too, though.
Yeah.
So you swing your heavy mace, and all of that fettedness it leaves a nice greasy,
All that hot dog sweat.
all the meat sweats, the Arby's, if you will, has made your hand grubby and greasy, and your heavy mace goes soaring out the out of the temple, and it probably
down the stairway.
By.
I like to think that it took out like a particularly large and cocksure monkey. Just like out of nowhere. Hammer of God just knocks it down.
I fully imagine there's like a bat that like goes inside of a bat, and so like it's got bat wings as it soars through. Do you want to use one of your abilities, or do you want to not push your luck? Okay.
No. I do want to use the ability of I love the name of this. Zap! Which it says the target of the spell takes 2 damage, but in addition, all enemies within 4 feet of the target also take 1 damage. So
you burn 1 mana point to do that. And are you targeting the bat that is still kind of hovering and menacing over your wizardly friend?
Yeah. That seems like the weak link right now.
So as you cast, what was the name of that spell again?
Zap!
The bat, already on fire, explodes like one of those overripe, fetid melons.
Hell yeah.
Showering everything with big bits of meaty bat chunks. The zap basically chain reacts every single of these little bats that are flying above you, making this bright bug zapper sound. As a
doggy
of bats, there is probably 40 bats just instantly just turn to raisins, and this puff of burning hair smell, and also just fall to the floor as a heavy carpet sound.
I have been told that raisins are nature's candy.
I said nature's fruit.
Why
did you laugh at that? Like bats are nature's fruit because fruit is nature's fruit. But yeah, anyway, I just totally Emperor Palpatine that shit. That was awesome.
You did with that death cry of all those bats at once, the bright light, and that terrible smell of electrocuted bats. The rest of the bats, including these large bat-like creatures, soar out of the temple and leave behind all of their fried compatriots. There is deafening silence and ringing in your ears.
At this point, I turn to 2 snakes and I tell him, those bat chunks and all those fried bats. I don't think anyone else is. I mean, I can't speak for the others, but I'm not going to eat that if you want it.
You ruined them. Why would you cook them? They were perfectly good before. Now they're all
them. Yeah.
I can't eat this.
This is a very political episode. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Donald Trump
is an apolitical statement because Donald Trump is very well known to like his steaks
well done and with ketchup. Yeah. So, yep. Yeah, I know.
It's real hard for me not to just log off and go be mad somewhere. Just hearing that.
This is like a known fact about him before he was political at all.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with him as a political figure and everything to do with the fact of let's
not stake shame people.
I will stake shame anybody anywhere at any. I will duel. I will have a duel with someone over this.
What are the weapons?
True
going to be?
story.
Steak knife,
Overcooked
obviously.
Yeah, a steak
Okay.
knife and maybe a fork. True story. I used to like my steak like rare as fuck, like probably dangerously rare. But because I am a transplant patient and I'm immunosuppressed, has to be like medium or better. Which is like a little heartbreaking, but I still get to eat steak. Unlike sushi.
Funny story
which is-
about that, actually. And sorry for the side trip, but my mom and I and my stepdad, who were all chefs by trade, were having my cousin and his wife and family over, who were all medical by trade, like doctors and nurses and stuff. And so he's making steaks, and he asked, "How does everyone want them?" The three of us who have worked in restaurants are like, "Oh, medium rare." Everyone in Messin, well done.
Yep. It's true. So
Speaking of-
we've still got our lights on. What do we see now that the bats have cleared out, other than a literal shitload of guano?
So much guano.
Absolutely. The bat raisins are wallowing in their own guano. If that helps improve the flavor there, two snakes, Yanthus. So you can see that the walls of this chamber depict scenes of a mighty god collecting the souls of the dead. At least that's what these pictographs and murals seem to depict. The head of this figure is elongated, and he seems to wield a large bow and it shoots black arrows at fleeing tiny humanoid figures. He is joined with images of bat-winged creatures carrying people off to his underworld domain, very much like the ones that try to carry off you. The passageway extends deeper into the temple, and it looks up ahead that there are some recesses in the wall, or very large like niches of some kind.
So I was trying to see if I had like occult knowledge of any kind, being a cleric. And I do have some awesome poems I'll read you guys later, but
I have some knowledge. I have some occult knowledge. Obviously, I'm a wizard.
Yeah, one would think. Do you, like, maybe at this point I would ask my I can't. What is your name? I don't want to call you like Beard Face or something.
Hagoma the
Thank
Red.
you. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Hagoma
not
the Red.
actually a man. You see, I'm a spiritual being of light that is here to. I'm here to. Stuff.
That's light and hair. You don't usually think of those two together. I would ask you if you know what this thing is.
So yeah, let me. Can I roll for that?
Yes. So you have a bonus die to that.
So I should
if
roll
you
5 dice total.
That is correct.
All right, here I go.
And
Enjoy this
with
fully.
With the skill, you get to ignore crit fails if you happen to crit fail.
Nice.
Okay. I got 1 success.
So you have, at least if you have 1 6 as a result, then you succeeded on the total result. So
Okay, I did have 1 6. Oh, okay. I had 1 6 and 2 5s, and the 6 was one of my crit die.
I think it's only 6s and 1s that count.
It's only 6s and 1s that we care about. You're thinking the other D6 game on this one. Streamlined on this one. So getting the symbolism from this, you're getting that there seems to be a bit of a mishmash of information here. It almost looks like part of the mural has been doctored over time to as if there was a different figure under here that has been altered to fit like a different deity, kind of like how when cultures get subjugated and then you adopt various features of the new gods to align with your old practices. There's something very kind of disconnected about this mural when you really look at it. There's inconsistencies here. The figure, the scale, the people that used to be in the village that was just south of here before they disappeared clearly had one set of beliefs, and something here has changed them.
All right. I'm going to convey. This temple has had many owners, many squatters, and at least a few of them have changed the worship from one to the next. But as I said, I know the blood god lies here with his delicious, delicious wine blood, I hope.
And his delicious meats. I think that we serve different aspects of the same deity. It's pretty cool. Blood
you know
god,
what?
Meat god.
If you want the meat, I'll take the wine and we can share back and forth as we need to.
Love it. Done.
But what this mostly says, for the layman, is stay out. Our God will kill you.
Well, how do you,
the rough translation.
How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, which god?
You would know from your identification that although that this is a god of the underworld, it doesn't seem to match the other world religions' view of what's colloquially seen as the underworld god.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of this guy.
So who cares then? Yes?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, he sounds like a lightweight.
Nothing will stop me in my quest to find the perfect power for Merlot.
So, it sounds like you are wanting to descend deeper into the temple.
Yes, clean.
As you move away from Batlandia into a deeper hall, you can see the walls of this chamber are lined with niches that each are filled with ceramic jars and what looks to be like the gilded skeletal remains of some type of honored dead. The skeletons are covered in gold scales and rich turquoise stones.
Are they human skeletons?
You want to go up and take a better look?
I do.
Describe the scales.
The scales themselves look like chips, like kind of when you take a stone and hit it and you make flakes like obsidian.
Not interested. Move on.
Well, see, coming from Two Snakes, that's sort of like, what are you wearing? Like, describe your scales.
Exactly.
So, Piggly, as you take a look at the skeleton, there's something odd about it. Its skull is elongated outward, unless if there was some type of alteration that was done. But otherwise, it seems human, but their skulls have been warped to be oblong.
And the skulls are also covered in gold?
They are.
I'm taking one.
Okay.
So I just pluck it off the neck and...
Hold! Are you sure you want to deface the altar of another? I'm fucking with you. Go right ahead. Like, dude, hey, if it was so sacred, where the fuck are the worshippers? That's all I'm saying.
And why have we never heard of this guy? Fuck
this guy. Where's his wine? That's all I'm saying.
Hey, and when we find that wine, we can drink it out of this cool ass gold skull I found.
Yeah.
I found.
Hagoma high fives you.
Yeah.
It's a mystical high five that brands your hand with the mark of brotherhood.
Nice.
It's a wine stain, but like you get it.
As you're high-fiving that is happening here, you have, a big, meaty, sweaty palm. You've got this wine-covered hand. And then you have this skeletal hand that's holding a dagger that's slashing at your hands. And you realize, as you're holding the skull, the rest of the skeleton is following the head, and you hear the bones rattle and clink as it begins to rise.
Finders keepers, motherfucker!
Ever since I watched the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, or whatever it was, that Ray Harryhausen joint, when I was a kid, I have wanted to engage in this exact battle.
They have a similar fight in they have a similar fight in the Pirates XXX movie.
I wish I didn't know exactly the scene you were talking about. But
What's the scene about, guys?
Where the whole budget went, really.
It really it was not well done.
What happens in Pirates XXX? I don't understand.
Well, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean, but
way more blowjobs.
Okay, so actually historical accurate, right?
yes,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Except it's a lot of male-female blowjobs, which is not historically accurate.
No, it
so.
is not.
No.
All right. Well, I think that we're in combat, right?
That is correct. So there are 8 of these skeletons that rise from their slabs. You could hear like all of their like bones making these hard, almost xylophone-like sounds as they raise themselves up from their slabs. All their scales and jewels kind of rubbing against each other in this very odd sound.
Hang on. Of course they sound like xylophones. They got all them scales.
Vote to remove Charles from the podcast. They're all each holding these obsidian ritual daggers that look very similar to the cruel and wicked angles of Horrocks' cruel dagger. So we'll start off with initiative here. So you have, besides the one skeleton that is up and immediately engaging you, the others are going to take one round as they stir themselves from their ancient torpor and are shaking off their dust. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to, we'll do this as a round robin. Who wants to just make a spirit check for me to see who's going to go first, this menacing skeleton or the group, and we'll round robin from there.
Well, I got a 6.
I think that decided it there.
All right, I'm going to wail on the nearest skeleton with this gore-drenched flail of me, which just, it's like insult to injury.
Absolutely. So that's your 46 for your
all right, 2, 2, 5, and 2.
All right, so that is not a success.
No.
You swing your flail around, screaming bloody curses, or I don't know, maybe you politely is throwing epithets. I don't know exactly how Horrick is at the moment.
Excuse me.
Just silent swinging.
That's even
creepier
that's
that
even
way.
creepier.
Yeah.
So your main attack has gone wild. You're still pulling bats out of your eyes, apparently. Do you want to use one of your abilities or hold that for later?
I can do a groin kick. Does that affect skeletons?
Absolutely.
All right, excellent. So I believe that does 1 damage and causes stun.
Pelvis bone's connected to the balls bone.
Mm-hmm.
So as you shove your boot into this skeleton's pelvis, you cause it to go up into its chest, and as it descends back down, it makes more of those xylophone sound effects as it just hits against every bone on the way down.
Worth it.
It doubles over in a pantomime of pain, and it is spending the next action rearranging its bones so it can attack you properly. It stares at you with its vacant eye sockets, upset, annoyed, and very disappointed.
I take it back. This is not Jason and the Argonauts. This is like 1920s, 30s black and white cartoon skeletons.
Now this is Army of Darkness skeletons.
Yeah.
Well, this is also the version of this that we received from Chris is written for DCC, which has that Appendix N goofy gonzo vibe. So I'm trying to lean into that as much as I can with this. So you filled this room with the sound of bone jarring bone music sounds. Next in initiative, which if we're going to be doing this round robin from this new view, is going to be that is you, Pigley.
So I would hit this thing with my heavy mace, but I done threw that one out the door. So let's see what else I can do. I'm assuming that these
you could use your holy symbol, which is basically treated as a wand.
Yeah,
so that's a ranged light attack.
Yes, I'm planning on initiating some magic real quick. Or does that just do magical damage on its own?
So you're treating it like a ranged attack. So you need to do a 3d6 mind attack, and then that would inflict 4 damage since you have Holy Might, which doubles your damage while you're attacking a dead creature.
Okay, cool. So roll 3d6 to attack. I will do that with my holy symbol, which in my case is like a big ass, like iron spatula.
I was hoping for kielbasa.
Iron kielbasa. All right, let's see here.
It has functions.
Yeah, you betcha. That's a 6 and a 1 right out of the gate, and
all right. And
then
the third die on that?
Additional third is a 5.
All right, so that is another mixed success there. So you are using your holy symbol, and tell me how...
a beam of greasy black smoke billowing meat flame roars forth from the end of the spatula, probably engulfing me if I know my mixed results.
I was going to ask how you think that this would be a mixed success for you. So it is a difficult success. So yes, you do get engulfed in greasy lightning as you attack your skeleton. So you inflict 4 points of damage to it. It hisses and wails despite not having any type of lungs. Perhaps you're just boiling something inside the ancient bones. And you take 1 point of damage from that as well, unless you want to burn one of your armor points, or if you just want to eat it.
Yeah, I've got pretty good armor, so I'm going to do that. And let me see, that would be down here. Okay. Yep.
So you see that you've done some damage to this thing, but it doesn't seem totally phased, which is alarming to you since this is your main weapon left, and at this rate, it would take a whole lot of force to take this thing down.
In that case, I also have an ability I can use, correct?
For you certainly can.
Let's see.
That would be Encourage, Zap, or Protector. Or you also have your move action in case you want to flee.
I don't want to flee. How about we do Encourage? I'm going to encourage. Who's next in the round robin?
That would be your snake buddy.
Oh, cool. Hey, 2 snakes. Have an extra die this round on me.
Thanks.
Nice.
You're welcome.
So your Encourage takes 1 point of luck, so you can subtract that from your current luck score. And are you choosing to stay put, or are you using your move action?
No, I'll stay put.
All right, so Yanthus, you see these skeletons. One has been kicked in the non-existent nards, and you've got another one that's been blasted from a giant iron sausage spatula.
Okay. I have the ability to cast Sleep, I believe, right?
That's
Yes, Sleep. Costs 1 mana. Target of the spell sleeps for 2 hours or until taking damage. So whichever ones are there that aren't damaged, I would like to tell them that it's time to take a slumbery spell, which is, of course, what snakes call sleeping. Slumbery spells.
Yeah, you should also sing Trust in Me to them as you do it.
Trust in me.
Oh.
Trust in me.
I'm so glad. Sometimes when you ask for what you want, you get it.
So, which one of these, because your sleep is going to be 1 target.
Yeah, whichever one has not taken any damage.
So there are 5 of these that have been, or excuse me, 6 of these that have been unmolested so far. So you turn to one of these, and you sing, and you sway, and
you molest.
roll it to sleep. It makes that, and it does sound like you're just dropping a sack of bones at once as it kind of crumples to a heap on the floor. You're not exactly sure over the sound of the combat brewing, but you think you hear the bones snoring softly.
Okay.
So you still have a move action and an attack action.
Okay, so then I would move over to one of. Have any of them taken damage and are still alive-ish?
Yes. So two of them. One got kicked in the non-existent nards, and the other has been hit with the holy symbol of Pigley.
Okay. Which looks most worse for wear? Because
one is pantomiming being hit in the non-existent nards, which is pretty comical, but you know that it won't be acting next turn. The other one that's been blasted by the holy symbol is shrugging off the damage and preparing to retaliate.
Okay.
The other ones are just moving in with this daggers silently.
Yeah. All right. I don't think my character has any actual weapons. Skills, gear.
You do. You have two weapons. You have a serpentine wand that you could do ranged attack. You also have a scaled scimitar.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
It's under your gear.
Under my gear? Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. There. I don't know how I missed that. I apologize.
Well, sometimes they're in a separate section.
Yeah. I'll go with my scaled scimitar towards the one that is moving more. The latter one you mentioned.
Correct. So you have 5d6 for that roll because you've been encouraged by your clericy friend.
All right. So we've got a 4. We've got 6. We've got a 3. We've got a 5, and we've got a 4.
I just need to know if you got a 1 or a 6 in the first 2 dice that you've rolled, and then also if you just got any 6 total.
If I heard it correctly, he got a 6 in the first one.
Okay.
The first pair that you rolled, right?
Yeah, I just rolled a hand. I rolled the 5 at once.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry if I did that wrong. I missed that part.
So the first 2 dice that you roll are your crit dice, and that's what really affects if you get a crit fail or mixed success.
Okay, my closest to me are the 4 and the 6.
Okay, then that means that with that encouragement flowing through you, and there's the sound of the air sizzling, much like a sausage on a griddle. You've sliced your scimitar towards this injured skeleton, and you lop its head off. It jaw open as if in surprise as it flies and soars through the air, and it crashes noisily to the ground. And the rest of its bones just deanimate into a heap. So all in all, so there are 7 skeletons left. 1 asleep, another one that is recovering from its injuries, and you know that you are outnumbered here. Next in initiative are the skeletons. The one that is still reassembling its bones is still doing that and looking very annoyed at you the entire time, Orc. One of the 2 of them advance towards you, Yanthus, holding these very wicked-looking blades, and then are bringing them down at you. I'm going to need you to be rolling me your defense checks, so please go ahead and roll me 2 separate spirit checks.
All right.
That's you, Yanthus.
Oh, my bad.
He's gotten too used to 2 snakes.
I know, right?
That's all right. I will call you 2 snakes.
Okay. I rolled a 6 and a 5.
A 6 and a 5. So your first defense, you completely move out of the way of its dagger, and the other one advances towards you and slices at you again. So make me your second spirit check, which is going to be your defense roll.
Not good. Oh, I got a 1.
All right. So as you move out of the way of the first attack, you basically leave yourself completely open to your backside, and it shoves this dagger straight into your spine. Now, you are wearing your snakeskin mail. You have 3 armor points with that, and you can burn one of those 3 points to completely negate the attack of this damage, but you're still going to be taking a penalty from crit fail.
Okay, I will burn that point. So I've lost 2 armor points so far.
That's correct. So you have 1 left.
Okay.
Even though that you roll with the damage, you fall to the ground and you fall prone in front of these 2 skeletons as they loom above you. Next, let's see, we got 2 more. One of these advances towards you, Horok, and the other one advances towards you, Pigley. I need both of you to make me a spirit roll. Your defense.
Okay.
Now, Horok, keep in mind that you have 1 extra bonus die from your dodge passive ability.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn a point of what is it, mana to roll another die.
Yep, dice bump that.
All right. So I've already got 1. And how's about another 1? So that's a crit fail, I believe.
Ooh, that is indeed. All right, how would you fare, Hork?
5, 2, and 3.
5, 2. Okay. So you don't have any successes, but you don't have any terrible failure. So as you Pigley are still holding on to your holy symbol, you're just having this horrible time where you just can't control your directional blast of your holy symbol. It's just kind of like holding a fire hose, and you're just like wildly flailing it around, leaving yourself completely open
Or holding
to this.
one of these.
Or we're holding one of those. And this
flailing
dagger
wildly
stabs you pretty badly. So with your crit fail here, you're basically a giant walking tin can.
We've been here before. I was spam and I got opened, remember?
That it is. So you will need to burn your 2 armor points from just the nature of your failure here. You can decide if you want you to take 1 point off your breastplate and 1 off your shield, and you drop your holy symbol as just the cherry on that cake. It stops its fire blasting as soon as you drop it into the dust. Hork, you get attacked by the skeleton, and this cruel blade comes down at you, and your cruel blade is snickering the entire time, as in like slow motion. This dagger cuts across your armor. Do you want to take the damage from this attack, or do you want to burn 1 of your points of armor from your hide armor? Hork, do you want to take the full damage from that attack?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I'll just take the full damage.
You can take the full damage and not use 1 of your armor points?
Yeah.
Okay. So that dagger rakes across you for 3 points of your hit points, and blood just swells through your armor. All right. We'll do another round of this, and then we can... all right. Top of the initiative.
Hey,
yeah,
I would like a turn.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Well, it is you are technically top of the initiative, Agama.
But I did get a
But
turn.
you didn't get one last time.
Because we did round robin, and how that was started, it was with... We've always done round robin.
But that doesn't...
But if we did round robin, I should have still gotten a turn.
Yeah, that doesn't repeat from the bottom.
Well, I'm looking in visual field, and so it's Agama, and then next in order of that is Hork, Pigley, and then the Anthus skeletons. So it's your turn, rightfully.
Okay. I want to do something weird.
Please.
I want to resurrect one of the skeletons.
Ooh, interesting.
Not weird at all, man. You're gonna hack that skeleton and flip it to our side, right?
That's my thought. Like,
Yeah.
I have a resurrect spell. I can turn it into a zombie and take control, essentially.
Oh shit! What happens to an actual animated skeleton if you cast resurrect?
If Ian will let me, I will. If Ian will bless this action, I will describe it.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Let me just spend my mana.
So the one that
Okay.
the combined efforts of all of you just taken down, you animate.
So as y'all are fighting the skeletons, Pagoma reaches somewhere into his beard and pulls out a full-size bottle of prosecco. He pulls his hand over it. Oh, and chops the neck in half and proceeds to pour the entire bottle down his throat. Anyone who's watching this, because most of you are occupied by fighting skeletons,
It's
he
like
then
Legend of the
turns
Drunken
to
Master.
he then turns to the nearest skeleton to him and spits the prosecco back out. But it's no longer prosecco; it is blood and muscle and tissue that coats the skeleton, rebuilding a body around it.
I
Wow.
like that you're just spewing
Wow.
chunks into the
Yeah,
skeleton.
literally
It's
just vomited
as
that
soon-
skeleton back to life.
I
As
love
soon
it.
as this now man standing there, Hagoma throws the ball down, grabs his head, and roars, "You serve me now!" and then turns him and pushes him towards the other skeletons.
All right.
There was
Oh,
this
that's my action. I believe that's my special skill. I believe I also get an attack.
You can attack and move.
Right.
Chris
Just
is
in
laughing
case
pretty
he was
hard at all this.
just in case he was thinking maybe I won't join the side of these people, I'm going to use my magic stick to fire a bolt of petrified tree sap.
Hit you with the magic stick.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, my critical dice was a 6.
Nice.
One of my non-criticals was a 1.
All right, well, that's fine, since that means then you've got a crit success.
Cool.
So you have fired your wand at the skeleton, and not only did you blow a hole through its rib cage that causes it to collapse upon itself, the man thing that you've just resurrected from an ancient slumber that you've just goaded to be your minion sees that what you just did and then looks at you, and like these eyes are still kind of like refitting themselves in the socket, and they kind of like pop out for a second, and like he starts vigorously nodding. It's just like, okay, all right.
I want to say this has been a good game for the magic users. between the bug zapper bat attack and the like,
which is actually rare for us. Now
yeah,
that I
we're doing
think
good.
about
Hey,
it.
Charles, I'm proud of us.
Yeah, me too.
Aw.
All the protests that this thing would have said for you forcing it back into the halls of the living, or just die upon seeing this thing. And what are you instructing it to do?
Oh, it's going to attack its friends, 100%. I've awakened it to a body and existence cursed and nightmarish beyond anything it had ever feared.
Wouldn't it only be able to attack one though?
Well, yeah, one at a time.
Yeah.
I just don't know which one was its mother, so I don't give it like a specific one to it.
It turns to the nearest skeleton and it lets out this forlorn, exasperated, doleful sound, and it mutters something under its breath in a language that you don't recognize, and it lunges You're pretty sure that it's crying as it attacks the other skeleton.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, I don't see
Oh.
HP anywhere on my character sheet.
Yes, so that is under stats and it's underneath mana.
Okay. Now,
That's
question. When something dies in my presence, I heal passively.
That's a
Yes.
cool skill.
Can I overheal, or am I capped at full health?
I think you're kept at full health, but I like the idea, since you are in the Ziggurat of the Blood God, that you are just swelling and are engorged with blood. Like it's almost a bad thing.
I do want to say that at this point, like, Hagoma is sort of looking more like a blood elemental than a crazy bearded man from the woods, but it's probably fine.
You're
And
just like a tick with a beard.
And Piggledy is just like applauding wildly at all this. Like,
Yeah, this is. I think we're gobsmacked. This is just.
yeah.
It's also probably the first worthwhile thing that Hagoma has ever done.
I mean, honestly,
In your
I was not
presence.
expecting this from this. You know,
Coming-
this is-
I
yeah.
expected
Coming
I
someone
get
in
that
to
a lot in my
die.
real life too, Bridget.
Yeah, coming through in the clutch. It's perfect.
I fully expected someone to get thrown down the stairs and die at the very beginning, and then I fully expected you to resurrect them. And then just like people start dying in the party, and you start resurrecting the party. What I saw happening. So we can show off some more rooms in this. Are we okay with doing a dramatic montage of fight scene where you're
Yes.
Yeah,
new Skelly
absolutely fine.
buddy?
Yep.
So there is a dramatic soundtrack that sounds very much like snake jazz as these scenes of skeleton on skeleton violence unfold. And it ends with this orgy of violence where all of you are covered under a thick layer of bone dust.
We need to start keeping another list. Genres of music we've invented. We've got piano hammer and snake jazz so far, I think.
I love it very much.
And to be fair, it would be you would not exceed your max hit points. For the record.
Okay.
I would
Ruling
suggest
from the
that
rest.
you can go
That
on just
does make
because.
sense. I
Right.
just wanted to check in case I could wig it. I do want to say that
Plus, you're already dead to begin with.
over the sound of this bone cacophony is Hagoma and Piggledy just like cheering and maybe making bets.
Discussing if we want one of our own.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one of our own. I'm not releasing him.
No, if we each want one of our own.
Oh,
we can
no,
make us
that's
each
fair.
one, yeah.
I mean, in real life, I would love a skeleton butler, but I think in game, pious me would think that the value's in the meat, not the bone. So
Well, he could keep casting that resurrect thing.
I can.
He can make you.
But
Yeah,
I think we'll just keep our one trapped in his own newly formed flesh, vomited by a mad wizard.
Flesh vomit prison. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, that's again like I thought we were playing a fantasy game, but no, it's just. I mean,
It's just the American healthcare system.
vomited into a.
This
flesh
is a
prison by
very
an evil
political
wizard,
episode.
Like, no, I'm thinking more that that's just like the story of human existence is vomited into a flesh prison by an evil wizard. You know, that's
My mom's a
That's like the
saint.
miracle of birth.
yeah, it's exactly.
Well, let's say for the sake of the montage, I've been expediting this. We get to show off some extra rooms. All the skeletons have perished, including your butler, but you can always make more as you adventure and find more things in this tomb. As you, unless there's anybody else that wants to do anything in this Hall of Honored Dead, we will advance deeper into the depths of the Ziggurat.
I just think it'd be funny for John's character to put flesh on the sleeping skeleton that I assume is just still there asleep. So it just wakes up thinking that it slept it off and then it's got flesh again.
Slept it off.
I got better.
Yeah.
was a real weird dream.
Yeah.
All right. So before we move on, any other actions, or did you want to resurrect the other skull?
No, I do not. I want to save my mana.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
So from here, there is a hallway that extends maybe about 50 or 60 feet down a flight of stairs. But before the stairs begin to descend, there is a passageway that is to your left that extends into the darkness. There is a strange, earthy, yet savory smell coming from that direction.
I like the sound of that, yeah.
Suspicious.
Suspiciously delicious.
I mean, possibly.
I came here for food.
Yeah.
So let's go left.
All right. The air is musty in this dank chamber. Every surface is covered in a thick layer of mushrooms. They are in countless varieties of undulating orange shapes. Some are brain-shaped, and others look like overlapping petals of a thick orange flower. The aroma is rich and appetizing.
You're welcome,
There's
John.
a gaunt,
Thank you.
10-foot tall man bent over, shoveling the mushrooms into his mouth furiously.
Is
And
it
his
me?
name is John Baldwin.
John fucking Baldesberger going to town.
I tentatively, like, how well can we see this person from like an unseen vantage? Can we tell if they're
Not
humanoid?
Well, if you're trying not to be noticed, it's hard to use a torch and not be noticed.
Fair point.
Do you want to advance and risk being seen, or do you want to send someone with snake vision up there?
I mean, I'm not a mushroom. That's
Someone.
someone. Yeah. Yo, 2 snakes. Let's get you on there.
Yes. I'll go have a look, I suppose.
Sneak up there and
Roll
see
better
what
this
you
time,
can-
my dude.
I do my best to slither silently. Not that
Go
my
ahead and make me.
what's that?
Then, in that case, if you're wanting to be silent, go ahead and Yanthus, and then make me a spirits check.
Okay, rolling my 2 dice. All right, that is a 6 and a 3.
There you go. You are silent. You cling to the walls like a shadow. You don't even make that hissing sound as you taste the air and kind of get the scope of this room. Beyond the immediate things that I said, pick out a couple of other interesting things as your vision pans through the room. You see that in the corner of the room is a weird, shattered, maybe like a sarcophagus, if a sarcophagus could be made of glass. It has a very alien construction to you, very foreign, but it's completely crenulated with and encrusted with various mushrooms running in and out of it. This man thing is 10 feet tall and very gaunt, looks very malnourished, skin hanging in loose folds across its bony frame. Its head is also elongated.
Bad news, guys. It's not me.
Well, it does resemble you in the fact that you
Devin shoving mushrooms in its mouth. I know.
Yeah.
its eyes, there's hunger and rage.
Okay, that's also fair. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm very curious about that sarcophagus. Does one of you want to distract?
Well, the Anthus has to tell you about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have yet to mention a single thing.
I always just assume info sharing unless it's an explicitly competitive.
Listener, in case you're wondering, Patchkey did not flip Charles off as he said that. Just
We lost you.
Me?
Well,
Who?
no,
John?
No, John.
John, he dropped out altogether.
He ate
Yeah.
too many mushrooms.
He
The only
did.
reason why I mentioned that is just because sometimes you want to do something odd, like swallow a whole bat, maybe without telling people. So I just need to know if he's going to do an action where he
Oh,
share
you're
the
asking-
information, like don't hit the red button, like.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So, guys.
Welcome back, John.
So are we eating mushrooms or what?
So here's the thing. We all know the story of Sleeping Beauty, correct? We all know of Super Mario, correct? Now imagine, if you will, both.
Sleeping Mario Brothers.
That's the greatest supposition.
Yeah.
So that is my explanation to everyone. I hope that made sense, but that is what I saw. And you're welcome.
You're saying Waluigi is
Out in time for Christmas. It's Sleeping Mario Brothers 3.
Princess Daisy is in a glass coffin surrounded by mushrooms, and you have to eat them to grow big. Oh boy, this might get awkward.
Too.
So-
Super Mario XXX.
Since you are communicating that information to your group, how do you choose to proceed?
I mean, I warned them about the Bowser archetype in there that's more gaunt than real life
Then
Bowser.
totally, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and just be like, be ready if this fails, but my plan is to sneak back in there and cast sleep on the gaunt thing.
Okay, that's a good plan. I also have an extra die on oratory attempts if we wanted to make friends, but I have not been rolling worth a damn tonight, so take that as you will.
I mean, I can
Keep
just
in
take
mind-
it to the garage. That's always an option.
Just to also highlight, in case you haven't seen it, Patchkey, your Yanthus Two Snakes also has strange whispers.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
It depends what route you want to go. For the viewers who don't see the character sheet and how the sausage is made, strange whispers allow us to target the spell to communicate with a target of its choice, like an animal, spirit, or unholy creature, if it counts as that.
okay. All right.
So you don't know
I'm
much about this thing.
I don't. But you know what's the best way to find out? By talking to him, by getting to know him a little bit better, by having a powwow. All right.
agree.
Yeah, let's do that instead. I like this better. It's going to cost me a mana. I'm good with that. We're okay. So what's happening, friend? See, you got some mushrooms there. That's cool. Nice glass sarcophagus. Huh?
So as you cast the spell, it turns its wild eyes on you. Its mouth is just agape, that's full of these mushrooms, and it drools this like chunky saliva down its face as it makes stares you in the eyes. And you have this very odd disconnect, as if you first start talking to it, and then there's a delay. Its mouth's moving like it's like yelling and screaming, but you hear this kind of very monotonous, very strange, far away sound as it kind of translates for you. And it's basically screaming, saying, "These are my mushrooms. I'm starving. This is a hell that never ends. I was supposed to be sleeping. Who
Oh,
are you?" Meanwhile, the rest of you are just hearing like guttural screaming as this thing is just like spittling mushrooms, and you have no idea what's happening.
Okay. So he wants to be sleeping, right?
I was supposed to sleep until everything was fixed.
Oh,
Sleep is bearable to this unending hunger. These don't fill hunger. And he just like takes spoonfuls and just shoves them in his gullet to illustrate.
okay. Back to plan A. Trust in me. Trust in me. And I proceed to put it to sleep because that's what it wants.
Yes.
I'm just trying to help.
You burn your last mana, and
Yeah.
it smiles as it like has like this big bolus of mushroom stuff like halfway in its throat. It might choke to death on its own mushrooms. You're not sure.
That's not my problem.
It's not your problem. All right. So the rest of you see this happen. Giant screaming at Yanthus. Yanthus just basically starts singing to it, and then it just keels over.
/ examine the sarcophagus.
So the sarcophagus is made of
That's not
like
how I
glass?
pronounced it.
No, it's not.
Well, you're not certain. I like
think-
saying goose.
I think it's
What?
pronounced sarcophagus. Yeah,
Suck
suck off.
off goose.
Yeah, sarcophagus.
Sorry.
No, I didn't
Silly
that cloaca.
Ooh, oh, oh,
Don't like that. Don't like that at all.
All right. So the sarcophagus is this glass and metal construct that is completely encrusted with these orange, scaly, fungally mushrooms in different shapes and sizes. To one of us, this might look like something like a stasis chamber, something almost kind of sci-fi-esque, or almost like a phone booth kind of like thing. To your characters, though, it is this incomprehensible thing, almost like a potion bottle, but for a human shape. But 10 feet, humanoid.
Well, I strongly recommend that my wine-loving friend not eat the mushrooms, despite his impulse.
I'm so angry right now.
I mean,
Do you
same.
want to
I wanted
eat-
to see him eat the mushrooms.
They're different shapes and sizes. Do you want to take some of these mushrooms?
Only take the one that is labeled "Eat Me."
Do you want to start eating random mushrooms?
No.
Are you under coercion?
I've never wanted anything more.
Why don't
The
you?
mushrooms.
We're almost at time.
You know,
can-
playing games is about fantasy fulfillment, John.
In fact, and the fact that
In
we
my-
were
My,
close
in
to
my
time,
fantasy is eating more mushroom. But look,
Yes.
Do it.
you want to eat mushrooms, and then we can close it and move to your announcements.
You might get
Yes.
big like the guy.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
want to eat. Look, guys, this I need you to understand though. This is not Hagoma, the blood wine necromancer. This is John Baldisberger.
Real life.
A strange light
Yeah.
fires up behind Hagoma's eyes as another force, a more powerful force, a handsome bearded force, takes him over and begins shoving goddamn mushrooms in his mouth.
The beard from where all beards flow.
Yes.
So go ahead and roll me d6.
I did have a mushroom dish for dinner, by the way. I'm
Ah,
surprising
you're lucky.
nobody. It's a 5.
All right. So
Mushrooms.
as you are eating these mushrooms, you look at your hand, the one that plucked the mushroom, and
Mhm.
put it in your mouth, and the very your fingertips they're turning gray, and
I'm sure that's fine.
it's washing down each of your fingers, and it's running up your arm, and it's going down your other arm. And even your beard is like turning more gray. Like all of your flesh is just turning gray.
It's fair.
Is he
But
still
the
able
mushrooms
How do they
themselves-
taste?
Oh, fucking amazing!
Oh, thank God.
it is
Yeah, hell
like
yeah.
Worth it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Perfect like medium steak. It is supple. It is delicious. You feel energized. You lick your chops to get all that mushroomy flavor off of your beard, and your tongue is also just like corpse ash gray.
Get every spore. Yep.
I do.
So yeah, these are absolutely delicious, and they smell amazing.
Did they turn him
Good.
to stone or into a mushroom?
No, his skin's great.
That's all?
Yeah,
It just turned
dude.
gray? Well, that's not so bad. I mean, that's okay.
I mean,
I guess you lucked out.
Okay, cool. I'm happy. I mean, yeah. Look.
Still plenty of other chambers and rooms in the temple. You've only gone through 3 of the rooms in this temple. There are puzzles and other interesting encounters. The deeper that you go inside the Ziggurat of the Blood God.
And if you make it all the way to the top and claim the giant ruby, your team.
You're working from top down.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking of the old Nickelodeon game show. My bad.
Oh, yes, you're right. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut off your reference.
Mr. Paschke, take us back to the outro screen so I can tell these fine people about where to get stuff and about stretch goals.
Stretch goals. Not stretch goals.
So we have 2 games here. Ian, why don't you go where people can find these and about some stretch goal stuff for us?
Absolutely. So actually is a fun thing. First off, both of these can be found on Kickstarter, where your friendly Zemo games can be found. Search for Ziggurat of the Blood God. That is Ziggurat of the Blood God. And then also TLD RPG. I always want to add in extra letters.
And for those of you who weren't raised by the internet, although I can't imagine that's possible, the TLDR reference, that used to, I guess still is, internet slang for too long didn't read. Like if there was a whole article posted, people would just reply TLDR. So TLD RPG is a very funny pun about, the length of some role-playing games.
Exactly. Too long didn't play. So that is what this solves. And you can see that instead of long, complicated spell chapters, you just do fun spells. And that is sometimes more fun than the crunch that doesn't always add up to much payoff. So as far as interesting announcements and stretch goals, one of the first stretch goals was more art from Michael Harmon himself. So he's been in our chat. His stuff, we've seen his other products in such as Pork and the Void. He's also author of Skin Job and some other Tomb of Immolation and other things. So check out his stuff as well. And then on top of that, there is a new adventure that has been unlocked for backers of TLD RPG, The Grave of Salyen Wenthus. It is a one-shot by Alan Bear. And so that's Alan Bear of Gallant Knight Games. So that is one of the latest stretch goals for the game. So make sure that you back those.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. And thank you, Billy and Chris and Michael, for joining us today in chat. It is fun. One other thing, that while you're on Kickstarter, while you're doing that thing, there is one other game you might want to look at. It is called Odd Gobs. ODDGOBS. That is a game by myself and Roland Coons, who worked on Orkborg. It is currently live, and we have stretch goals to make it compatible with both Cyborg and Cyber Metal 2012, which we have played on the show. I've really got into zines over the last year. Really into zines. And I've made some friends in the neighborhood who, when the pandemic started, they grabbed all the D&D 5e stuff. Like, I'm going to play this with my kids. And then they never played it because, well, it was too long. They didn't read it. So I adore these standalone systems that exist in a zine that you can like read the entire rule set in 5 to 10 minutes. Easy to figure out, easy to use. Obviously, we can use your imagination to kind of help with how the game works. Like the resurrection spell did not say anything about casting it on undead enemies. It didn't say anything about vomiting flesh from a Prosecco bottle for sure.
But it didn't say you couldn't.
But
Yeah,
exactly, it did say it couldn't, so I did.
It doesn't say anywhere in the rules that a dog can't play basketball.
I have personally, I backed both TLD, sorry, and Ziggurat before Ian announced that we were going to run them. So I believe in both these projects, and it is very, very cool. A little bit of other news. 2 books from Madness Heart Press's catalog last year have been nominated for Splatterpunk Awards. That is Check Extreme, edited by Lisa Tone, and The Television by Edward Lee. Both books are extremely extreme. So that's your trigger warning. If you are offended by anything, please don't read those books. But if you are not, please do. All these things said, we had a blast tonight. One of the greatest pleasures I've had as a host on this show is the people I've been able to build relationships with. Being able to, like, I've worked with Billy. I'm working with Michael Harmon in the future. I look forward to working with Chris. Like, these are cool people doing cool shit, and it all looks great. So, oh, and Simone's doing art for Ziggurat the Blood God, and obviously, like, Simone's my dude. So, like, this community absolutely slaps. Support it. Help us all keep making super cool shit. Thank you. I think that's everything. Go back all 3 of those projects. Next week, we'll actually be playing Odd Gobs here on the stream. I'm going to run my friends through a cyberpunk dystopia, making shit as weird as possible. So don't miss that. You know, I don't think there's anything left to say except thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. I have been John Baldisberger.
I've been Charles R. Bernard.
I've been Bridget Brave.
I've been Charles Paschke.
I've been Ian Servas.
And with that mind, fuck. We will see you next week for some goblin-y goodness. Until then, scroll through Kickstarter and give away all your money to indie creators. Cheers, folks.